and welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's Dawn here. So today I thought we'd stash bust a Love from Lizi kit. So this one has hardly anything left in it. And when I say hardly anything, I mean hardly anything. So I've just been having a look and there's literally very little left. So we have our dies. Let's move that. We've got some bits of cardstock, so there's a few bits there. Let's see what's here. We've got 1, 2, 3 sheets left. That is a sticker. Oh, let's take you off. Right, okay. So 3 full sheets. We have our stamp set, and then we have this little bag of goodies. So not a lot in here actually. So we've got 2 tags. Okay, we've got some pieces of ephemera. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Wow, 7, 8, 9 bits of ephemera left and 1 sticker there, and then 3 wooden chipboard embellishments, some ribbon. Yeah, so not a lot to sort of work with here, but that is all good. So let's get the dies out because I think we're going to need them. So the dies that came in this kit are, we got 3 hearts. So there they are, and then we get this little teapot that has some hearts in it as well. So I think first thing I want to do is we're going to cut some hearts out of that. Oh, that we're going to have to cut down. Right, okay, let's grab some card bases. Right, okay, so first things first, let's have a look. I reckon we're only going to get maybe 5 or 6 out of this. So I want that. So I'm going to cut that down to 4 inches. So we do have to cut the top and bottom off. And then I'm wanting to cut it down to 5 3/4. Okay. So then we'll use those bits for something else. Let's grab a card base in. So that can just sit on there. And one thing is we could have a chopping board maybe with a pie. Yeah, how about that? Think as simple as that. And then I'm wondering whether or not to bring in some of this ribbon. Oh, let's get the red ribbon. I'm wondering whether to put the red ribbon just around the top. Well, I don't know if that goes. What about the cream ribbon? Because I think we can put a bow on as well. Maybe. Right, okay, let's find some glue. So there really isn't a lot to work with on here, so we are just going to have to yeah, go with what we've got. If I remember rightly, when I first got this kit, I actually made a recipe book. So yeah, right, got little bits of everything all over. I'm just going to stick that on there like that, making sure it's as straight as I can possibly get it. Right, okay. I'm wondering whether to put one at the bottom as well. I might do it. Let's do it all the way around. So that it looks like a frame. Let's do that. Hopefully we have enough. It looks like we might have enough. So that's just going to go there. Okay. And then I'm going to do the same just down these side bits. There's one bit. Yeah, so making it look like a frame I think is probably the best way to go. Okay, and then doing the same down this side as well. Okay, right, okay, I'm liking that. So let's turn this over, and I'm going to just fold these ends over and stick them down. Okay, now I'm doing that so that I'm doing this, sorry, so that they don't fray on us. So that's why I'm sort of kept a little bit on. I think a little bit, should have left a little bit more on that piece, but that's fine. Okay, but yeah, because we don't want our ribbon to fray if we can get away with it. Okay, sorry if I'm going off screen. I think I am a little, aren't I? I'm just trying to hold this one down at the end so it doesn't pop up anymore. Right. Oh. Okay, and then this piece. So now that I've got them all turned over, I'm just going to pop a load of glue, concentrating on a load of glue on those areas. I mean, you can use double-sided tape for this, that would work just as well. Okay, and then, oh, that looks really pretty. I like that. Okay, so loving how that looks. Now I've got a little bit of this ribbon left, so I'm just gonna make a bow like so. Okay, as I'm thinking it might look nice, you know, just up in one of the corners, or even, actually, do you know what, I'm not going to bother putting the things out. I'm just going to put a bow underneath that recipes and have it as that. So even though this is a card, you could put a recipe inside. It could be a recipe card. I like the idea of that. Let me just grab a glue dot. Okay, and then stick that on there like that, and then I'm just going to stick that just over there like that. I mean, how lovely is that? Now I've noticed there's no sequins in this bag, which is a bit of a shame. I do have some sequins left over from another kit that actually would go quite nice on here, so let's use them. I'm just going to get my little pot out. So just for some added bling, just because I think we need something, I'm just going to pop some sequins on just over here. Actually, I'm thinking just the two, which I don't normally do, but I'm liking just the two. So there's one, and there's our second one. So there is our first one. So instead of it being an actual card, it can be a recipe. So we can write a recipe in it. How cool is that? That's quite cute. So I like that. So there's our first one. Now I'm going to bring in my little Gemini, because where's those little bits? Let's have a look. I'm going to cut the hearts out of these. Now I need, that might be alright. These are terrible, these plates, they're awful. Okay. Well, let's see if the big one can go through. Yes. So there's one heart. I'm going to do some in the smaller ones. Okay, and I'm even going to do the little teapot as well. Okay. Well, don't bunch up together. I should have really got my little tape out, but never mind. Right. Okay, so we have the little teapot, because I'm thinking that we can maybe ink around them. Definitely use those. Do you know what? I'm going to get another little pot out just to put these bits in. I'm going to do, oh, another teapot fit in there. No. Well, a heart. Yeah, we can fit another heart on, so let's do that. Okay. Now I cut these plates in half just because, yeah, they were about to fall apart anyway. Right, okay. So I'm going to do the same to this bit. We actually have quite a few other little bits. So we have this gorgeous paper, which actually would look lovely as a big heart. So let's do that. And then I'm going to do that one and a little baby one. Okay. I'm just going to push that down. And then cut them out. Okay. And just as something a little different, let's do the same with the, oh, lady. So, yeah, that is our little lady. Just knock that out. Right. So, well, these are our scrap bits. So basically, I'm just making some more ephemera bits because I already know we just don't have enough. But I've got a couple of ideas for the hearts. Right, okay, let's move that out of the way. Now I'm going to just grab another little pot out just to put these in so that we don't lose them. Okay. Knock that out. And we want to keep all those hearts as well from the teapot because they're just so cute, and why wouldn't we? Right, oh look, we're all sort of static. Okay, move them, we don't need them. Let's move them into here. Right, so let's us start on the next card now that we've got some more bits of ephemera together. Then just going to put them in there so we don't lose them. Okay. Right. Now let's cut this one in half. This one I'm definitely I think I'm going to use the chopping board on. Now we can get 2 cards out of this one. I'm just gonna, there's like a gluey edge, there we go, on there that I wanted to take off. So my card bases are A6 that I'm using. So these are 4 inches by 5 3/4 inches. So that's what I'm doing. I'm going to do the same to this one. So the aim is to try and get 4 cards out of this, because that's how many pieces I'm able to do. So yeah, so I'm on a stash busting mission, guys, to create, oh, that'd look nice across there. Let me just cut this. Yeah, I'm on a stash busting mission in which to use some of my Love from Lizi kits up. So you'll be seeing, there should already be one up on the channel, which was an Easter kit. And I had so much fun putting that one together. So yeah, it's I thought, you know what, it's time to revisit some of them. Now I haven't wrote down what kit this is from, so on some of them I'll just show you. So on some of them I've actually wrote when it's from, and then on others I haven't, which is really annoying. So, but there's a couple of kits that I have within, you know, my stash that I have very little left. So, you know, it's nice to actually use these little bits up ready for when I get more of Lizi's kits. Okay. I'll just stick that in there, and then I'll do this one. Actually, that might be quite cool. Did that way. Just having a look. That might work. Looks a bit different, doesn't it? Do you know what? I'm just going to go for it. We'll do that with that card first, instead of what I did have in mind. So now I do feel like we need some peel-offs. Maybe. Actually, instead of peel-offs, let's use the ribbon. So, because we do have the red ribbon there, and some black ribbon. Well, dark grey ribbon left, so I could have cut that off as well. Never mind. Right. Put glue all over it now, which is, yeah. Okay. So there's that. Now for this one, I want to do this one first. I'm going to come in with this red ribbon, and I'm actually just going to pop a line of glue all the way along that edge, because we're going to use the ribbon as our peel off. So right, let's cut that straight. Okay, like so. There we go. And then there we go. How nice does that look? And I'm actually going to make a bow and put a bow on it. Yeah, because why not? Pull it down a bit. It's a bit too big. There we go. Oh, and that bit. And then I'm just going to pop that bow there. So I'm going to use my glue dots again for this one. So let's do that. I'm just going to have a sip of my tea as well. Before it goes cold. Actually, I'm going to have it that way. And then that's just going to stick on there like that. Oh, I'm liking that. Now at the bottom we're going to have it as if we've got the chopping board. I just realised that we're going to have to use one of these as a sentiment. Oh, we could actually make 5 cards as another base there. Oh, do you know what I'm going to do? Where's my stamping block? There it is. I'm going to use my VersaFine Clear ink just because it's the juiciest, and I'm actually going to stamp it out on here. Oh, if it'll work, please work. So just leave that a few moments just for the ink to take. Oh, look at that. And then I'm going to have that. I'm actually thinking, take that off, because that can go there, and then the bow can just sit on top of there like that. Oh, I like it. I like it a lot. And instead of, let's do the hearts. Yeah, what about that? I like that. So what if we do that there, that there, and where's that little baby one? Oh, and then this little baby one just there. Yeah, right, loving that. So let's glue this down. And that's just going to sit there. And then I'm going to glue this one down. Yeah, with this one. It's just that. and then that one there. Oh, I like that. And then the last thing that I'm going to do is I just want to bring in a pen. I've got a pen anywhere. I'm going to put a doodly border on because I really do feel like this one will benefit from that. So, yes, it does. I knew it would. Like sometimes we just need, yeah, a little something, and then like that. So as if they're dangles. Oh, I like it. So there's our first card. How cute. Well, sorry, our second card. How cute is that? So there's that one. So let's grab the next one. So I'm going to go with this one. Now this one is like foodie styly one. Now I want some white cardstock because I need to do, have a look what we've got. Ooh, spread some love. I think I want to go with that one. So, oh, let me get my cloth out to clean it. Okay. Right. So, and then we're going to go with this one, which is spread some love. Okay. Now, let's stamp this out. And I'm going to stamp it out a couple of times because I think we can use this as a sentiment on a couple of different cards. So, there's one. And then what I'll do is I'll fussy cut them out. Okay. This is just a bit of a scrap cardstock that I just had to hand. Right, that should do. So, got, yeah, ink all over my thing. Never mind. Right, put that away. And then pop this away. Just need to get a new folder out for it. Okay. Now I don't keep my stamps now in the cellophane because it drives me around the bend every time I try and get a stamp out and you have to fight with the cellophane. Oh, yeah, it really does get on my nerves. So now when I've changed the way that I store my stamps, so they'll just go in like that, and then I'll put the dies in with this on as well because I know that they came with this kit. Right, okay, so let's fussy cut these out. So I've just got my scissors here, and okay, like so. And just like that. Okay, and then it just means we've got some sentiments there ready to go. Do this again. I'm going to go all the way around, making sure that that's nicely cut out. There we go. Let's do the other two. Yeah, I always have on my desk, I always make sure that I've got scrap bits of white cardstock because it is, you never know when you need it, and yeah, it's perfect for just doing a bulk. See, I'll keep that bit because we can stamp some more in there, so that'll just stay. I sort of trap them between my inks and my pens. So yeah, but I like the sentiment. Right, okay, so there's that. Right, let me pop my cloth away. don't need that now. Okay, now, so we have this. Now I'm thinking that we've got like the cow. Where's the pig? We've got the little piggy. So I'm liking those. Now I'm feeling that we may need something. Yeah, just something as simple as that. So let's do that. I'm just going to glue that down. Okay, like so. And then I'm going to do the same as what we've just done on the last card, but I'm going to bring in the grey ribbon, and we're just going to put it just along these lines. So we're going to use it as a peel off. There really isn't any reason why we can't do that. Okay, that's that bit, and then I'm going to do the same along the top as well. The only thing I would say is just make sure you've got plenty of glue on. There we go. I like that. Okay. Right, perfect. So now let's glue Mr. Cow on and Mrs. Pig. Or should that be the other way around? I don't know. I'd say should we have that what's for dinner, but no, because that's just cruel. Oh, I like that there. Oh, and let's have a chicken. Why not? Let's do the chicken. So I'm going to stick chicken there. Right, I like that. So keeping it very simple. That's keeping it very, very simple, isn't it? I like it. Don't think there's anything else that I would like to add. Nope. I think we're going to leave that one as is. So there's our third one. Let's go on to the next one and let's have a look. So this one, I'm thinking that we could have the chopping board with the pie. Maybe have the whisk like that, and the sugar behind it, just like that, and then this what's for dinner up there, but have the chopping board maybe there. Because then that's sort of suggesting, isn't it, that pies for dinner. I know my house, everybody loves pie. And then that could go there. Okay. Right. So I'm thinking, actually, thinking that way on. Yeah, should we do that? Why not? Let's go for it. Right, so I'm gonna, because I honestly don't know how else I would put these ones together. Yeah. Okay. There we go. And then I'm going to stick this down. And we're going to just put it at an angle that way with the pie on. Like that. I really like that. I'm wondering whether to pop a teapot on. But I think I'm just adding stuff for the sake of adding it. I think if I'm to add anything else, it's going to be maybe a little heart. So let's stick this down. And then let's pop one of the hearts on. Just above it, just there. Right, okay. And then using my glue dots, I'm just going to grab that bow and stick that bow just on there like that. And then we have it. So not the most, like, not the nicest of cards. You know, there's, I don't know. Let's see if putting a border on it helps. Because it could just be, I need a border on it. Okay. But I'm very limited with what I'm working with on this kit, so it is a little bit of a struggle, not gonna lie, but it's not too bad. It could be worse. I don't think that's bad at all. We do have our sequins. These are not from this kit, but you know, it could be something as simple as just a few sequins dotted, maybe. Actually, yeah. Oh, where's that sequin gone? There we go. Do you know what? I like that with the sequins, so we're going to add them. And maybe that's what was lacking. So, oh, there we go. Oh, that looks pretty. Right, so there we have it, guys. That is our fourth one. So let's go on to this one. Now, I do have left this piece as well. So what I'm going to do is stick this on to here. Yeah. And sort of go from there. Okay, I just need to trim across this bottom. Right, so let's work on these two together. So I'm going to work on it like that. Now I do have this strip of paper, which I think would look quite nice across there. So let's do that. Okay, right. And I'm going to just trim down either side. Okay. Now we do have in here our little bits and pieces, but what I'm thinking is having maybe the two little teapots and a heart. Oh, I like that. Yeah, and maybe one there, and then one on either side of that. So very simple. Oh, there we go. Oh, look at that. That's quite simple, isn't it? And quite cute. So I quite like that. Now we have this one. I don't know whether to add maybe one of the florals on there. I don't know. I don't know. Let's see, we could add the florals onto this one. However, I'm not quite sure how. So I'm thinking maybe that with that. As simple as that. Literally just as simple as that. Yeah. I don't know if oh, I don't know, guys. I really don't. I don't know why I'm whispering. Right, I have no idea what I'm doing. Do you know what? Get rid of these. What about? Oh, I like that. I like that much, much better. So what happens if I did something like that? Let's move that, because no, I'm not liking that background. If I'm being perfectly honest, I don't like that background. However, we have to work with it. We've got to do something with it, so that's what we're going to do. Take that one off. put that one on. Oh, there, I like that. And then move that, and I'm going to put that there. Right, loving that now. That is definitely speaking to me. So let's put some glue on. Okay, so just that, and then that, and then our chipboard piece. Oh, see, that looks really nice. And then I'm just going to pop a little dot of glue on, and using my embellishment wand, pop in these down so that we get it in the right place. Now I'm thinking as well that we can have, no, do you know what, I don't want them. I was thinking we could have some of them, but I don't want them. I'm liking how that looks just as is. Yeah, really simple, but I really like that one. I think this one actually might be one of my favorites out of the group. Now let's deal with this. So what I'm thinking is, let's see what I'm just seeing what I've got down the side here. So I'm just going to grab some cardstock, and yeah, okay. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this down to 3.5 by 4 3/4, and that's going to go in the center because it covers up most of the piece. Yeah, it needs to go that way. Right, so let's do that because, oh, actually, no. Then I'm going to put some of this on, and then, yeah. Okay, so let's draw a line across. Okay. So when in doubt, just add some white card and cover most of it up. You can still see it around. I think it's just too busy, and I think because I've got very little left in this kit, yeah, it was just way too busy for me. Right, put some glue all the way around. So let's stick this on there. Right, I'm loving that. I mean, that straight away has made a massive difference. Okay, I'm gonna do a bow, so let's do a nice pretty bow. Yeah, and that's gonna sit on there, so I'm liking that a lot. Okay, right, let's get a glue dot off. Okay, and just pop that on there like so, and then I'm going to have it, do you know what, we're going to have it centered in the middle. Come on, sort you out. There we go. So they've just curled up on themselves, but it's easy just to deal with. There we go. Right, okay, so there's the bow. Now we've got our little sentiment, which I'm thinking can go there, or our sentiment can go there with a heart. Yeah, I like that. Oh, I do have this heart as well that's a sticker. I'm just going to stick over the top of that. Okay, yeah, and it just gives it some, right, okay, I'm liking that. But first of all, let's pop in a border. I'm just going to do a fake stitch border. Okay, so this is if we're doing a running stitch, like so. Okay, and that'll just help draw the eye in. Like I say, we're dealing with very little here, so I mean this is literally it. This is all we have. So I'm going to have that up there. Come on. So that's just going to stay there, and then we're going to grab our sentiment and glue that down like that. Now I'm loving the teapot, and part of me wants to just pop the teapot there once I've done that. Do you know what I'm going to, because I really like that teapot. So let's get that stuck down just on there. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to have that there, just because it's the very last piece of ephemera and it seems a shame not to use it. Right, loving that. So I've only got, what about the green? Get rid of the bigger ones, just do the small ones. Just, you know, just as a pop of colour. Yeah, I think so. Do you know what? I like that. I like that a lot, so we're going to go with it. Right. Well, let's pop those down. Oh, there we go. And last one. There we are. So there we have it. That is it done. Now I've got a few hearts left. Just, yeah, little, and one little teapot. This is actually all left over from the last kit, so they're going to go in there. And I'm going to put these two sentiments in as well. So yeah, that is it, guys. And as for ribbon, well, that's literally it. Wow, I am impressed. We've more or less used that whole kit up. How cool is that? Well, we have used it up really, because those were just some die cuts. So let's bring everything back in that we've made. So I'm just going to get rid of these little bits. They're not worth keeping. Where's my lid? That needs to go in with the stamp set. So they'll just live in there. I do need to get a magnetic sheet out and pop a magnetic sheet on so that we've got them. But yeah, let's have a look what we've made. So we've got this one. I think this one's my favourite one. Very difficult kit to work with, I have to say, but I mean, we've managed to make an extra 6 cards. How cool is that? But I'm absolutely positive on this kit I didn't make cards with it. I made a recipe book that I actually gave away to one of my friends. I think I kept one and then I made another one, so we did get quite a lot from it. But yeah, I hope you've enjoyed today's video doing some stash busting. I hope you've stashed busted along with me, and yeah, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you ever so much for watching, and until next time, happy crafting everyone. Bye.